Hey, welcome to Let Them Talk. I'm Paul DiRienzo. Got another great show in store for you. Our guest tonight, Malcolm J. Merriweather, who is the newly appointed director of the Dessoff Choirs, and he'll be telling us all about this 94-year-old organization that has brought music to the ears of New Yorkers, I guess, since the 1920s, since the Roaring 20s, right? And so welcome. Malcolm, good to see you.
Thank you so much. It's great to be here.
Right, great. And later on we'll actually be listening to a few minutes of the Dessoff Choir, and so folks don't know what it is, they'll learn all about it. Here's the place to come. Although
Fantastic.
I think I'm in the minority of people with taste and who know things about music who don't know about the Dessoff Choir. So inform me, tell me, what is it, and how did it get to be, and how did you get to be the director?
Yes, well, the Dessoff Choirs, as you said, was formed in 1924 by Margaret Dessoff, who was actually a German immigrant. Her father, Otto Dessoff, was the eminent director of the Frankfurt Opera, and she came to New York to work at the school that preceded the Juilliard School. Mm-hmm. To form choirs there. And in her spare time, she formed a community choir. And that choir was the Dessoff Choirs, which is actually made up of two choirs, hence the plural choirs. Okay. All right, a women's choir and also a mixed a cappella choir.
I see. And so this was a professional choir in the sense of it wasn't a part of a church or a school, but it was actually a standing organization whose purpose was to bring people with beautiful voices together to sing.
Almost. It professional in quality, but the singers were avocational. They did it for the pure pleasure of it. They weren't being paid. But yes, professional in the sense of quality, definitely.
Right. And so, my gosh, where do they? So it's going to be. We're talking about a number of performances. The one that's coming up is November 7th, and that's at Alice Tully Hall. Is that the usual place where
we have performed at Alice Tully Hall for many performances since the hall opened, actually, in the mid-20th century. But this is my first concert with the Dessoff Choirs. I was recently appointed music director.
Right.
And it is sort of it's a big deal personally for me to make this debut with the choir, and also in such a meaningful program on such a meaningful day. We are on November 7th performing a concert entitled We Remember, and the concert honors two outstanding stewards of humanity, in my opinion, from the 20th century, President JFK, John F. Kennedy, and Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And we honor them by performing a piece by Stephen Stuckey entitled Take Him Earth, which was written by Stuckey to commemorate the 50th anniversary of the assassination of JFK. Oh, okay. And another contemporary piece by New York organist and composer David Hurd, entitled In Honor of Martin. And it's a 5-movement work, which the Dessoff Choirs has commissioned the orchestration. And it really pays homage to MLK and his life, and also his work during the civil rights movement. And then the whole evening is really going to be summed up with Mozart's monumental Requiem.
Okay, wow. So a lot of questions pop into mind. The first one is, you don't take any position on the assassination of JFK and any conspiracy theories around it, right?
Well, actually, I'm very interested in those theories, but that is not part of the program. This is purely a program to really commemorate his service to our country. And the concert is on the eve of our 2016 presidential election.
That's true, the 7th, right?
The
it's the
7th.
Day before.
It's the night before.
Right. And this is the strange election that's happening on the second Tuesday of the month and not the first.
It is.
Right, there's some story behind that, but I'm not going to tell it now. But let's talk more about yourself and how you rose to this position, and tell us, first of all, you live in New York City?
Yes, sir.
And tell us a little bit. You live in Harlem, right?
I live in Harlem, and I love living in Harlem. I've been there for 3 years.
So you are the Harlem Renaissance.
Well,
Thank
you.
The re-Renaissance, right?
Yes,
Right.
there's certainly a re-Renaissance happening in Harlem. I hail from Grand Island, New York, which is a suburb outside of Buffalo, New York.
Yeah.
And it's one of the largest freshwater islands in the world. And I grew up singing in a choir of men and boys at the cathedral in Buffalo. Went to school at Syracuse University. I studied music education and did two master's degrees at the Eastman School of Music. And then I moved to New York because I was tired of upstate New York. And I said, I have to get out. And moved to New York, and that was 5 years ago. And since then, I have held positions with the New York Choral Society, where I was associate director. I worked at the Cathedral of St. John the Divine, where I was an associate director.
Okay.
And I, in addition to being a conductor, I'm also a professional singer, a baritone. So I sing in choirs, I sing solo concert work.
What does a baritone sound like?
It sounds like this.
Thank you.
Oh,
You
gosh.
got a performance out of you, too. That's great. Thanks.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Let's take a few minutes and actually watch a video that we have queued up of the choirs, and then we'll come back and talk about it. All right.
Sure.
So what are we about to see?
This is a wonderful video of a chorale tune written by Buxtehude, the Baroque German composer, and this was from a performance directed by the Dessoff Choir's previous music director, Dr. Christopher Shepard.
Okay. Thank you. We'll go with that now. Thank you.
Stop.
Are we ready? I'm hoping. There. Welcome back. And well, we were watching the Dessoff Choirs, and yes, the plural is actually part of the name, and it's more than one choir. It's interesting history. Where was the what was the piece? My guest, of course, Malcolm J. Merriweather, who's the director of the choirs that we just saw playing, and we're talking about the performance that's on tap for November 7th. We'll tell you more about it at Alice Tully Hall, and where we can get more information. So first, tell us a little bit about what we just saw. What was that piece again for folks who just tuned in, and where was that recorded?
That was Erhalt dich und mich by Dietrich Buxtehude. And it was recorded in a concert that the Dessoff Choirs did last season at the Church of the Holy Trinity, which is at 88th between 1st and 2nd Avenue. A beautiful venue. And you can see that the choir was performing with a wonderful string ensemble. And this concert featured music by Buxtehude and also some of his contemporaries. And
he's German, by the way.
Yes, he's German. So
the title, and your German was excellent.
Oh, thank you.
Good pronunciation. Are a lot of these works German, or are they other languages as well?
On that program?
Yes.
Yes.
Or in general, or the program that's coming up, I guess, is going to be in English, right? It's by Modern American.
Yes, it's in English, both In Honor of Martin by David Hurd and Take Him Earth Cherishing are in English, but Mozart Requiem will be in Latin. Yes.
All right, cool. And so it could be any one of a number of languages where choral work has been written, could it be in Asian languages, Japanese, Chinese?
Chinese, yes. Actually, in fact, on our final concert of the season, A New Amorous World, we'll be singing in Chinese, two pieces in Chinese. So.
Wow, that's interesting. I want to get back to that. Where can people get more information about all of this?
You can go to dessoff.org. And right on our homepage is our beautiful poster for We Remember. And just click on that poster and it'll send you to the ticket link.
All right, that's dessoff.org.
Correct.
Right, great. And okay, there's other programs here that are, we're looking right now at this beautiful, there you are when you're all dressed up. I mean, you're dressed up now, but when you're ready to perform in your white coat and tails, or white shirt and tails, or white tie and tails, I should say. And there's how to spell it for folks who want to get to the .org. And on the back, you have numerous things that are happening. Can you tell us a little bit about these and what's coming up?
Absolutely. During December, we have 3 events. We have 2 concerts entitled Welcome Yule, one in Manhattan at St. Peter's City Corp, and another concert that we will repeat at St. John's Church in Brooklyn. And these concerts are going to feature, your traditional holiday carols, but re-envisioned, because the choir is going to be doing some spatial experimentation where the choir is actually going to surround the audience. We're going to be experimenting with some placement quadrophonically. So it should be a really interesting take on some traditional carols that everyone knows. We'll be doing Bach's motet, Lobet den Herrn, in this fashion as well. And the central event of the December series is a Messiah Sing, which Handel's Messiah is a timeless work that everyone loves during the holidays. And this is an opportunity for you to come and sing it. So that's going to be at Union Theological Seminary in James Chapel. And anyone can come, and we'll have scores there. You can even just come and sit and follow along and observe and be in the middle of the music. So it's a real great community event. Great.
And so that's coming up for the holidays. And then you mentioned some other pieces. The New Amorous World. I thought it was Amorous.
Amorous, yes.
Okay, love, having to do with love, the new loving world. And what is that one about? What is that?
Well, that concert is centered around just observing our diverse society and the diverse world that we live in, and really accepting it and loving it and embracing it. So what I've done is I've assembled some pieces, choral works from the Far East, from China, from Japan, from the Middle East, and also music from Haiti. I also have a choral project that I'm working on in Haiti, and I'm bringing up 2 Haitian conductors, and the Dessoff Choirs is sponsoring this exchange. And the featured piece of that concert is the namesake of the concert, and it's by Lembit Beecher, a contemporary composer of Estonian descent. And this, the text for this work is by Charles Fourier, and he was a 19th century poet that wrote on subjects such as equality for women and sexual orientation, things that were not out in the open in the 19th century, certainly. So
in French,
in French, and it's been translated into English.
Wow, that's interesting. So it's interesting. You've done a lot, and it seems like more than I realized had already been done with what seems like an ancient art form, really, something that goes back to medieval times, I guess. I mean, people singing in church.
Absolutely.
Together. I mean, it's timeless in a way. Right?
Yes. Well, singing is so wonderful because of the community. The voice is a very personal instrument, the most personal instrument, because it's inside of your body. So I think that the community that is created, and the Dessoff Choir certainly is a very warm creates a warm environment and community.
Do you make use of the church organ in any of the pieces?
Yes, we will be using the organ at all of our holiday events.
Well, that's a church instrument, right?
Yes,
It's the
and
ultimate.
for French Fête, which will be in February, that concert will feature the organ at Saint Jean Baptiste Church on the east side, where we will be doing 20th century works by French composers like Jean Langlais, Charles Debussy, Claude Debussy, and many other composers.
What goes into this kind of preparation? I imagine at this point it's not just a labor of love. People have to be able to don't put time into this, so they must get paid. Or are they doing it as volunteers?
You're right. It is a love. Every single member of Dessoff loves music and loves singing, and they are contributing their time. But I think they are all getting so much out of and so much fulfillment from singing this glorious music, from being in community and rehearsing. And we rehearse every Monday night from 7 to 10. And
how do people audition? How do they get in? How do they find
We have a
out?
rigorous audition process, which includes some pitch matching, language recitation. They have to read something in German, Latin, and French. Sight reading, tonal sight reading, and atonal sight reading.
Do you have to be like in the sense of a trained professional opera singer to do it, or could you just be a very talented person who can sing beautifully?
It is a requirement for the Dessoff Choirs that everyone reads music, and that contributes to our high level of quality of performances. So many people in the choir do have music degrees and have studied music, but have gone on to pursue other careers professionally. But to answer your question, yeah, we really strive for a really professional product.
I can see that. And tell, how's the rehearsals? How much rehearsing do you do for one of these programs? And are you like the person who like storms up and down with the document saying you this and you that, and tell me how you do it? How does it work?
Well, there's not a lot of storming because the members of the Dessoff Choirs are really dedicated, and they put in work outside of rehearsals. We rehearse once a week from 7 to 10. That's not a lot of time to prepare a full concert program. Right. However, they do work really hard. So I leave rehearsals energized, excited, fulfilled, and happy, because it's always an experience of joy with them.
Really, and it's the joy of singing, the joy of the music, the content of the music, the prayer. What is it that
All of it, all of those things. For me, and the reason why I am in a career as a conductor, it is the human nature of it and connecting with people on this cerebral level. I mean, here we have the music, which is igniting many different senses, but then there is the intellectual aspect of the text that we're singing about. And yes, we are singing religious texts sometimes, but we're not associated with any religious affiliation, and that adds to the complexity because we have people coming from all different backgrounds singing, Christian music, singing Jewish music, singing whatever, Chinese music in the Chinese language, and converging together for a common goal.
Wow, wonderful. So all of those cultures, I mean, Jewish religious music you guys sing?
Yes, the group has performed, yes, in the past.
Wow.
Yeah.
You have to bring a klezmer guy in? Oh, my God. Really good. That's beautiful. So the next few minutes, maybe go through to me what it is, what are these pieces of music that you've been describing? We've heard a lot of names and a lot of pieces, but what is the content of them? What are they about? What are they prayers? Are they talking about myths? What is the content of the actual music, the words? What do they mean? What do they tell us?
Sure. Well, let me go back to the repertoire that we're singing for We Remember, since that's the concert at hand.
Absolutely, November 7th.
Yeah. The piece that honors Stephen Stuckey is actually a combination of several different texts, some religious and some not religious. Stuckey combines the traditional burial mass for the dead, which begins "Take him, earth, for cherishing." So that's certainly religious. But then he also uses a text from Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet, the third act, and cut him out, and sets that to music. And then he returns to the burial of the dead.
Is that historical? Is this like telling the story of JFK's life and his assassination? Are you telling a story in that way?
No. It is the way Stuckey sets the piece, it's simply to honor and commemorate him. There's no specific mention of JFK.
I see.
But all of these texts are closely associated to JFK through different speeches. His brother Robert Kennedy recited the.
Now you're a young man, so like this all happened like long before. I mean,
it did.
Right. So you had to look it up, I imagine.
Right. But I think it's ingenious what Stuckey did. Going to these speeches and combining texts.
He actually got it from the speeches that he made.
So Robert
was a very good speaker. I know.
Oh, yes. Yes, absolutely. And the text for In Honor of Martin by David Hurd similarly combines two different sources: a religious source from the Book of Wisdom, which is the souls of the righteous are at the hand of God, a traditional sort of something that might be sung at a funeral. And then he sets the poetry of Jamie McKenzie, a poet based in Denver, Colorado, who wrote this poetry about Martin Luther King Jr. When he was a graduate student. And this is very vivid, and there is stuff, there are quotations about Rosa Parks, going to the back of the bus, and riots, and it's very evocative, and the music reflects that character.
You're taking this ancient art form, and really reinventing it for the modern world.
Absolutely.
So tell us when it's going to be November 7th, Alice Tully Hall, and people can get more information at dessoff.org. Right here it is for folks who want to take a look, DESOFF.org. You can get all your information there. And there's our guest, Malcolm J. Merriweather, right here. And tell us a little bit about the music that was accompanying. It was a string. I couldn't tell if it was a quartet or there was more than that.
It was a string ensemble. It was a little bit more than a quartet.
Okay.
And similarly, at our concert on November 7th, we will have a full orchestra, much bigger than the orchestra that we just saw, with trombones and timpani, and the piece by David Hurd in honor of Martin actually has congas and wind chime, and there's a really a moment in the fourth movement that will just grab your attention, where the percussionist plays the shot that assassinates Martin Luther King Jr. while the chorus is singing. So the orchestra will certainly combine with the voices and complement the wonderful voices of the Dessoff Choir. We'll also have 4 soloists who are outstanding, who will provide beautiful music in Mozart's Requiem.
As the conductor, are you there with your baton?
Yes.
Doing the whole conducting thing.
Yes.
What exactly are you doing? We got a minute and a half. Tell us a little bit. What is a conductor? What information are you transmitting by the movements of your hand?
Lots of information. Lots of nonverbal information. First of all, I'm providing the tempo, and through very specific gestures and that are prescribed by the meter of the piece. I am showing dynamics, louds and softs. I'm showing articulations, whether it's smooth or whether it's detached. I'm showing expressive features and really connecting. And the conductor really is the glue that holds everything together, because the conductor provides that artistic influence, that artistic vision of what this piece is going to be in performance. Is it going to be frantic, or is it going to be calm, or as dictated by the score? But the conductor really realizes the score.
I see. That's beautiful. And do you have the baton?
I do have a baton.
Now, why the baton? What's the baton?
The baton is because it's nonverbal and it's a visual thing. It's really an extension of the arm, and usually batons are white because the tuxedo is black, so you can see the beat through the baton in a dark hall. So it's practical.
It's practical, so people can see it. So thank you very much for joining us.
You're welcome.
Merriweather, and we'll see you at the show.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. That's it.